Good morning. Welcome to another episode of your Technology Questions Answered. We are Season 2, Episode 1, and I am your host, Steve Smith, aka Z-Axis. And you know what? I'm getting a little pissed off about these commercials on TV telling you, your computer, when it's slowing down, you have a virus in Spyware, and if you don't install our stuff, you're going to break your computer. How about we dispel the myth today? This is Truth Be Told on Technology Questions Answered. Welcome to the first episode of the second season of your Technology Questions Answered, where today I will dispel the myths around the advertisements telling you that if you don't install their software and buy their stuff, your computer will cease function. And the way I'm going to achieve this is by explaining to you 3 things that you may know, but probably don't realize. I'm going to bring it all up to the surface, explain why your computer slows down, what is their kind of advertising, and what is it about the technician you believe you actually know about? So let's start off with your computer. And best of all, I won't say virus or spyware the whole time during that part. So let's get this, okay? How do you slow down a computer? Very easy, folks. Despite what everybody tells you, your computer can slow down from normal usage. So basically the fragmenting of the data on your drive. Through repetitive usage and accessing of files, you actually do fragment each of the files. One of these files that you fragment is called a system file. These normally can't be defragged, but I do have a solution for a later episode just for that. Then you have something else that can happen. Solar flares. Basically, all that cosmic radiation all around you, flipping bits on your hard drive continuously, making it harder for the hard drive to function. That will actually slow you down. The RAM can be aging, the motherboard can be aging. You can also have issues with the power supply. That itself, depending on the quality of the power supply, can have a lower wattage than you previously thought you installed. And you can also have one that's just got too much power and is causing issues with the rest of your computer. You also have the idea of installing things into positions that they shouldn't be. So all these instant messengers, iTunes, QuickTime, all these digital cameras and video camera software, multimedia device software for networking, scanners, printers, all that stuff. They don't need to run at startup. You even got Office documentation trying to start up at the beginning. You don't want that. That makes the computer load slower. Then you can have defective hardware like the hard drive. Like I just said, you have fragmentation as an issue. What about data, Airiness, communication? Basically, all the data that's supposed to be going straight through your hard drive is not getting exactly where it's supposed to be, and you're still getting an issue out of it. That can be an issue. You may have to replace your hard drive. That might be why it's slowing down. Then you can have defective driver sets in your computer. I know we all say you have to update your drivers to the latest. Sometimes they're not the greatest. That's why you have a rollback feature in nearly every single operating system in existence. Then, just to make everything worse, you can have all of these or some of these as issues. So if you're really unlucky, you actually have all this stuff slowing down your computer. Remember, I told you I wasn't going to say virus and spyware, and I didn't. That is basically my point. Your computer can be slowed down by this. How do you make your computer faster? The easiest, fastest, well, not actually all that fast, but the easiest, cost-effective way is to just format the drive and start new. And most people that know what they're talking about will say 6 months to a year minimum. A lot of you have slow computers and you've had them for years. You should format it. It brings up back all the speed that it has. And this is the best time to figure out if the hardware is failing inside. You can test the RAM if you have an Ubuntu disk laying around with the MEM86 Plus test inside, which is free. You can go over to my website, www.zedaxis.net. Season 1, there's an episode on diagnosing the RAM and the hard drive. The hard drive, you can use the SpinRite program offered by grc.com to test if your hard drive's got an issue. Now, here's the thing. You can have a lot of problems inside a computer even before you get a virus in it. So let's answer a question very, very frankly, okay? Is it possible for a virus or spyware to render a computer permanently inoperable? So we are referring to the hardware. Yes, but not by itself. The only way virus or spyware can render a computer inoperable is if the computer already had defection in it anyway. So the sensors that protect the computer from overheating by turning off the several devices, or things inside that are security based that are supposed to protect your computer that are not doing their job anymore. Only if you have those kinds of issues in your computer can a virus ever take down your computer. But sorry, your computer is about to die anyway. So if your computer gets taken by a virus and pops, it was meant to die anyway. And all computers will die. That's just a fact of life. Our computers made today are no more solid than basically a potato chip compared to what we had when I was a kid. Those things, literally, we had a computer in my high school get dropped 3 stories. It still worked perfectly. This is something like in a year, well, give you an idea. It happened when I was in secondary 3 or 4, and I graduated in 1999. So it's pre-millennium. Drop 3 stories. Do that to my tower right now. I guarantee you nothing's going to work. That box that was dropped even had a screen. It didn't even have a chip on the screen. Do that to our screens now, they'll break. That's just an absolute guarantee. Our stuff's not made as well as they used to be. They're made crappier, and they have much more issues with things around them than viruses. Viruses can't take down these devices. They may be fragile, but they do have security devices to protect them built in. Only when those fail does a virus or spyware even have the potential risk of taking out your computer. Because virus and spyware can't drop your box, can't drop your screen, it can't do any of that. Only you can do that. And for those who have laptops that say, you know what, I put my laptop in my bag and it overheated. Here's the thing. Most people will say their laptop overheated, but the most common damage done to a laptop after some sucker put it inside a bag is they dropped it because they got burned, not because the laptop overheated. Laptops are more confined space, designed to operate at slightly higher temperatures, but they do actually turn off when they're too hot. So, do not put your laptop in a bag while it's still on, because an enclosed space will make it heat up more. When you touch it, you'll drop it. It's not the temperature that blew it, you did. So, what about these advertisements that you see on TV? The one I referred to in the article, Truth Be Told, on this topic, had to do with a commercial stating that if you didn't buy their software, your computer, which had supposedly a virus or spyware, would cease to function. You also periodically get the commercial, I believe it's Norton, where they even say that the technician offering free software is wrong, and by doing so, your computer is rendered a perfect target for all viruses. Both of these commercials are absolutely, positively wrong. There is no significant proof out there that paid software is better than free software, and this proven by all the groups of antivirus testers on the market. You always have free software near the top. And here's a big star in the sky of a light for everybody. Most of this free software is designed by the same people selling the software with the same databases of virus signatures as the paid one. The only thing you're not getting is all that extra stuff. But who needs 3 or 4 firewalls and a whole bunch of gibberish anyway? All that extra software does something to your computer that, guess what, folks? Here's a lesson. How do you hack a computer Easily. Convince somebody to buy something with a computer that does not have enough memory to actually run it at optimal speed. So let's say you buy Norton 360 with all the gibberish that it's got in it. Like the antivirus by itself is good. But when you have that bloated software, which by the way, loads the whole thing into memory, that's going to slow you down. The easiest way to hijack your computer by a hacker, one of those black hats, not a white hat, but a black hat hacker, is to force the memory to have a buffer overrun error and force illicit code to run at the very end, allowing the evildoers to do whatever they want to your computer and get all the data they want from your computer in the first place, bypassing the antivirus and anti-spyware in the first place because they can no longer function. They just all crashed. So how does one protect his computer from viruses and spyware? By not allowing the computer to ever be in a critical position to crash. So do not run software your computer was never capable of running in the first place. So if that means you don't buy Norton 360, you just didn't buy it. Buy the latest one if you want. Hell, go ahead. Go to my website. Click the banner on the right to the Amazon Associates store. Buy it straight. Help my podcast out. It doesn't bother me that they sell software. It bothers me the way they advertise. And how about this technician that gave the free software in that commercial? For those who don't know this term, code 18, it means user at fault. Okay? Here's one way of explaining it. When you have the NRA say, bullets don't kill, guns don't kill, people kill, they are absolutely, positively right. What about cars getting into accidents? It doesn't happen by itself. Somebody put the car in a position to have an accident. Same thing as a computer. Computer does not turn itself on unless somebody tells it to. Does not go on the internet unless someone tells it to. Does not open infected attachments unless somebody wills it to do it. Doesn't even send other people viruses from the said computer unless somebody put the virus there in the first place. So, is it the technician's fault in that commercial or any other situation whatsoever for the infections in the people's computer? Absolutely not. It is the user who is at fault. So like anything else in life, do not blame the people telling you not to do it. Blame the correct person. If you fired a gun, if you got into a car accident, or you infected your computer, blame yourself, not the technician. This is my whole point. Advertisements tend to make people try to realize other different things, like what's not actually true. So, can the virus take out your computer? Not really. It can't really do it unless your computer's aging or been mismaintained or not built correctly. At this point, maybe if you got your computer built by a technician who didn't know what he was doing, you can blame him. But the software that they offer, the ones that have the antivirus names like AVG, those things, they work just as well, if not just as good, as their commercial counterparts, and you don't actually need all the gibberish around it. You don't need 1,200 sensors telling you one person's getting in. One was enough to do the job. Just like the Windows firewall does not need zone alarm to tell you that something is trying to get in. Windows just blocks them. And if you had a router, the router would just block them outside. Now, for all those who want to know what I'm doing next week, I'll be talking about vector graphic design. Ever designed a logo you wanted to make bigger? Ever designed a graphic for something that you wanted to make bigger? Let's say you made a tattoo for your arm inside a graphic editor, but you say, I want this thing to be on my arm but bigger, and then you try to make it bigger and it looks ugly. Next week, I'll offer you a solution. Vector graphic design versus bitmap graphic design. This will be the battle between the mathematically calculated graphics and the pixel-oriented imagery. And, as a bonus, I am giving you free software next week. So, for all those who want to interact with the show next week, www.zedaxis.net, send your stories, comments, suggestions, and or questions all the way through. Same address, you can head over to our associate store from Amazon, buy any of the hardware and software you want. Doesn't bother me. I have nothing against people selling stuff. I have something against false advertising. But then again, doesn't everybody? This has been your Technology Questions Answered. I was your host, Steve Smith, aka Z-Axis. Subscribe to the show, like the show on YouTube, send it to your friends, colleagues, and family if you believe they would benefit greatly from this show. And don't forget to do the survey for our podcast on our website. It is on the left side in the podcast bookmark. Stay safe and online. Have a great day.